On this week's show, we're going to collect all of the notes and share what we've learned over the course of this season's programming. Then we're going to look toward the future and see what it might hold and what it might mean to consume media. We will discuss that and more with our roundtable discussion panel. Then we welcome CL Cannon's Indie Connection, which is always winning when it comes to star-crossed romances of indie books. Then Joe Compton brings you the State of the Indies address in the final 5 minutes of our spring season finale. So sit down, grab yourself a cup of coffee as we get ready to discuss these issues and more. For This Week in Indies, here's your host, Joe Compton. Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Week in Indies for June 26th, 2022. Yes, it is our springtime finale. We will be back in the fall, but we're not going anywhere just yet. So we're excited for the next 70 minutes or so that we're going to entertain you. We're going to try. Our world is on fire, but that's how it goes. And so we're going to push on through and talk about everything we can talk about today, and look toward the future, as muddy as it might look. But that being said, I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. We've got a really great crowd, and we've got a really great panel. And the unfortunate thing is that I have to start with some not so great news, and say goodbye to another indie this year, and it's really, my friend Jim Christina passed away earlier this week, and he was really. He had his own publishing company. He was partnered with Richard Palini, doing their publishing, and they also did a radio talk show that was very successful and called LA Talk. It was called The Writer's Block, and he unfortunately passed away. We had the fortunate experience of having him on the prehistoric version of game shows that we used to run here on Go Indie Now, called the 10-Minute Drill. And I put a little clip package together that I'll show you here in a moment, and we'll say goodbye. But Jim was always the kind of guy that really was very honest with you, very upfront. He was such a nice guy. He taught me a lot about humility, and he taught me a lot about how to approach some sticky situations. He and I were involved in something that was kind of a little bit sticky, and the way that he handled it and the way that we were able to get through it was amazing. And I'll never forget that about him. I learned from each and every one of you every single day, and Jim was no exception there. I'm going to miss Jim. I hadn't actually spoken to Jim in a little bit of time, so it even saddens me further that I didn't get that opportunity. But with that being said, here's a little tribute to Jim and then we'll go ahead and get on with the panel. But thank you, Jim Christina, for all that you gave me.
Jen, what movie or book has truly scared you?
Demons from my youth. It's the scariest film I ever saw, and I still watch it to this day.
Mr. Christina?
I'm going to say Anna Karenina. I just looked at the size of the thing and said, oh, my God.
For writers
For best
fatigue.
anecdote for writers.
For writers fatigue. Keep punching those keys, even if you're just typing the alphabet out. Just keep hitting the keys until something comes out.
Nice. Mr. Christina?
Take a nap. Have a glass of wine. Actually, take a nap and have a martini and then go back to work.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Jim. You're going to be sadly missed. Thank you so much, sir, for all that you gave me and to the indie community. And welcome, everybody. This is our roundtable discussion. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maddie knows me all too well. So I would have done that in a second.
I don't know how that happened originally. Like,
but thank you. But welcome everybody. I mean, we've got a nice crowd going today. A lot of people breaking the fourth wall. But Miss Dale there. There's Daryl's here. Thanks, Daryl. It's nice to see you again. Anita, so glad to see you. Karina's here. Some guy named JD's here. Some person named Vanessa's here. AC Adams is here. Thank you, AC. Nice to see you again. James, Mr. Master is here. I love it. Miss Alicia is always here, and we really appreciate that. And welcome. It's so nice to see you all. Yes, Anna Karenina. Oh, no. Yeah, for real. That was a really funny moment. But anyway, let's have everybody introduce themselves and move on and talk about the future, the past, the present, and all those things exciting. So, Miss Dale, start us off, please.
hey guys, Madilynn Dale here. I have a website you can check out. Ooh, wow, I'm totally off on this game today, guys. Here's my website. You can follow my links and find me on everything there. Check out my books. I'm a fantasy, romance, paranormal, adventure, kind of mixed genre author. Obviously, I've had way too much coffee today, but I'm still drinking it because it's going to be a long day. And I'm also still trying to get my energy back from having my wisdom teeth pulled out. So I'm stoked to be on this final episode and kind of sad because I'm not going to know what to do until we start up again. So,
Yep, that's always the thing, right? Trust me, sleep is very fun at that point. So, but come September, you'll get no more sleep. So
yeah, you're not wrong. So.
All right, Mr. Estrada.
Greetings, fellow humans. My name is JD Estrada. I'm having tea to counteract and balance from Madelynn's caffeinated intensity. I'm an indie author from Puerto Rico who lives in Atlanta. I wanted to see the shit show of the apocalypse firsthand. Still no zombies, but hey, we're only halfway through 2022 and anything's possible.
There's still time.
There's still time.
Very true, very true.
And there's still time to go indie now.
There you go. Hey, it's a little early.
JD,
Smash the like button and subscribe.
Premature go indie now, but all right.
Hey, in terms of going, there's no such thing as premature.
That's true. Very true. It's always time. So, but yes. All right, Adam.
Hi, my name's Adam Gaffen. I write science fiction, the Cassidy Chronicles. You can find all of my links right down here. Yep, right down here. Just had a new book come out. Was it actually?
it was Monday.
It was Monday.
What is time?
Mine is on the way.
Time is wibbly wobbly. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be back, and what the hell am I going to do on Sunday mornings now?
Well, we're not gone for very long, but yeah, we're gone for a nice period of time. All right, Ron.
Hello, my name's Ron Lahr. I write fantasy, science fiction, humor, mixes of those. I'm also one of the creators and hosts of Indie Mayhem here on the Go Indie Now Network. We have some cool shows coming up. And then there's my life's work, gardening. Apparently.
Amazing gardener and cook.
Man, Man, I'm doing a lot out there. It's waiting for me to get off the air so I can get back into it and get out into the garden. It's like 4 feet away from me. Well, I mean, there's like 10 of them, so yeah. I mean, they're everywhere at my house.
It's
Calling
lurking.
your name.
Nice. All right, Venessa.
Hey y'all, I am Venessa Giunta. I am the author of the Soul Cavern series. I am also in Atlanta, and I do not garden.
Are you and JD in the same house?
No.
Hey, you
I
can
will,
always
I
contain
will,
the garden.
I will pseudo step in for the one and only Nikki Nelson Hicks because I can only pseudo step in because there's nobody who can replace Nikki Nelson Hicks. But Nikki is having internet problems and she's going to be in and out. So we may see her, we may not. But everybody go check out Nikki if you can. Everybody's links are in the description right now. So you guys can all check out everybody that's here and do those wonderful things that you do to support these wonderful folks. Yes, there's a lot of comments about the fourth wall being gone. The fourth wall is a lie. It's a big crowd. Cool. Cue the doors, break on through the fourth wall, and then the fourth wall is totes gone. Yes, awesome. All right.
We don't believe in
I'm
the fourth
happy
wall
with
here.
it. That's fine.
Yeah, I know who Maddie's been hanging around with.
All right. So, throughout the course of this season, you all might call me an evil genius or mad scientist, but
Yes.
a lot of the things that we talked about this year, on top of, everybody else contributing topics and things of that nature, were on purpose. And the idea was this season, because I had heard from a lot of you out there, a lot of people who were, who give us feedback and tell us, what they want to see. This is your show, and I want to make sure I'm giving you what you want to see. And a lot of people, including a couple here, mentioned the fact that, we don't take the opportunity and the advantage that we do to teach oftentimes. And so this season, this entire spring season, was teaching, and I learned an absolute ton this entire season. So selfishly, I took advantage of the opportunity and learned a lot, and actually made a show where I can learn stuff, which was great, and that was a lot of fun. I also learned that there's time. As there's always time for Go Indie Now, there's always time to laugh. There's always time to cry. There's always time to cheer. And so I'm very thankful to Ron and what he contributed this year and what Maddie's contributed for making the opportunity for me to laugh. And so I appreciate that. But I'm curious from each of you, as I tasked you earlier when we talked about this, to kind of, if we could go through each of you, each one of you, to talk a little bit about what you feel like is the most valuable lesson you're taking away so far from 2022. I mean, obviously this week probably changed a lot of valuable lessons, but in terms of, being an indie and this business and what we do as a craft, so I'm want to kind of gear it toward that. So if you made it personal, that's fine. But if you can think a little bit about what it is that you did, artistically learn, I would appreciate sharing that as well. So whoever wants to share first, the floor is yours. So go for it.
I'll go first. So I learned the importance of having a writing tribe. Not just a group, like just a writing tribe. Sorry, Venessa, but you guys having
Put the link.
y'all to throw out ideas and stuff and bounce information off of, and just having that community, even if you're not in person, here next door neighbor kind of thing. Having you guys to talk to just anytime, whenever, has made a huge difference in my writing. So sorry, my Oklahoma accent is trying to break through. So yeah.
We welcome all the accents here in Go Indie Now.
Oh my God, y'all crack me up.
Who wants to go next? Come on, you're all gonna go, so you might as well jump in.
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
So I was gonna say that it wasn't a new thing for me, but I had forgotten how much I need my writer tribe. And this year, well, the last couple of years, but this year really underscored that. So thanks, Madilynn, for taking that away from me. So I think the other thing that I really learned, I learned that I really, really love CL Cannon's marketing tips.
Oh, yes.
I learned so much from her marketing tips. Even if I don't really have time to watch like an entire thing, I will watch as much as I can of the recorded ones, and then I'll like make sure I have 5 minutes and like jump to the marketing tips, because her stuff is so good. So I can't really pinpoint, I learned this specific little thing, but I've learned a ton about good marketing practices with CL Cannon.
So you're the one that's skewing my retention numbers on that show. Thank you. I'm just teasing you.
Sorry.
JD says we need her series to have episodes in her workspace and others in the car.
Yes.
She's gonna see this, so she's very aware of the car love. So.
But I like the difference. I still can't get over the episode where Megan was on one side of the car and she was on the other side of the car.
Yeah, that was really good. And I actually like her office because of one reason over her left shoulder, which is our right. And if you can look at it from the screen, you'll see a little placard that says "Mom Boss." I think that's just the best.
Yeah, I love that.
There's a little Easter egg for everybody. Look for it next time. You'll see it a lot in about 20 or 30 minutes. So. I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was going to agree. All right, not to sound like we're all, agreeing, but there has been so much in this season. It's really hard to pick out any one thing. There are good pieces of information coming up every single show, every single segment. And so how do you pick out just one? Absolutely having a tribe, to go to, getting back into personal appearances. That is so energizing. I think, though, if I had to pick out one thing, it would be that no matter what mechanical changes are going on in mergers and new apps, or new ways to get your stories out to people, it always comes back to write good stories and use what works for you. And what works for you doesn't necessarily work for me and might not work for JD. So find the thing that works for you and keep using it.
Yes.
Not to agree, but I agree. I wanna jump ahead of Ron for a specific reason. It's not me being cheeky.
Sure it is.
This year has been interesting, and it's been very challenging for a lot of people. On a personal level, it's been extremely challenging. Some people know more than others. I won't get into details. Let's just say it's been challenging. I've relearned or learned what balance means for me in 2022 is different from what it meant 1, 2, 5 years ago. Learning to say no to people that I like and care about, including Ron, and not being on Indie Mayhem. That sucked because I really wanted to be on it. But being the responsible adult is not always fun. And sometimes you have to say no to stuff that is fun. Knowing and listening to my body, listening to my mind, listening to everything. So basically, this season I haven't been on as many shows. You know, I've been on a couple panels here and there, but my more of my contributions were written to the Go Indie blog, which was super fun. Just because I can still explore that, and it's just my way of adapting, and it's just reminding myself that there are different ways to adapt in terms of all the facets as an indie author and as a human. And yeah, this week teaches us that we have to adapt, but it also teaches us that we have to push back. Another thing that I learned and I really appreciated was going back to in-person events, even though we had face masks at the Puerto Rico Comic-Con. I can't begin to tangibly and accurately capture how re-energizing that was. Apart from, since the pandemic started, I've met so many authors in Puerto Rico. The community is booming in Puerto Rico, and I'm kind of a bit envious that I'm not down there. It's like part of the reason that I moved to the States was to have more opportunities, and it's been kind of a clusterfuck.
Welcome to the States.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Earth. Well, no, I can't say that because he'd slap me. So it was just super, super re-energizing and meeting these people and how healing feeling. Everyone, when I write to people, I go like, I'm sending you a hug and stuff like that. Someone asked me, do you hug that much? Joe can attest to how much of a hugger I am. But to be able to embrace so many people in Puerto Rico, and not just family, so people that you care about, people that have been there for you. And I haven't seen the last episode of Obi-Wan, but the Force was not that great in episodes 4 and 5 of that series. But the Force is very strong with indie sisters and brothers, because days that I've been like down, so often someone would write out of the blue. Someone would drop a picture with one of my books. Someone would drop a review that it was kind of crazy, because it's not one time. It's not 2 times. It's like dozens of times in a span of months. It's like, man, today sucks. Hey, how you doing? Man, I was just reading you. Hope you're doing great. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's the good type of creepy, not the bad type of creepy. So those are a couple of my lessons.
That's awesome, man. AC says, and she's going to have to get out to some events myself. Yes, you do, including you need to come and join us. We would love to see you, AC, and have you on. I know you kind of came to us later in the season, so but the new season's starting, and yeah, you're part of the group. I think I've seen you in the Going Now group. If not, join the Facebook group. Everybody should join the Facebook group, which is a call to action that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And yeah, come and join us. We would love to have you.
Yeah, AC is pretty awesome.
All right. Seems like it. I'm excited. Yes. All right, Ron, your turn.
I learned that people who seem nice and like they're your pal will let you down. JD.
Sorry, buddy.
JD.
No, what I actually learned was how much work goes into creating a show. I mean, much more work than I expected, and how hard it was. Because I would see all these people doing shows, and I'm like, those people are idiots. That it must be super easy. And no offense to all of you who have shows, but yeah, I was stunned by how much more was involved than I expected. And Joe warned me, and I was like, so
what does he know?
Yeah, so I guess the other thing I learned is I should listen to Joe more, which is galling.
Poor Ron. I have empathy for you, Ron.
You have to listen to Joe.
I have no empathy for you because you should have listened to me from the beginning.
It's just funny to sit back and eat popcorn while you guys like discuss listening to each other. So
it's pretty funny.
Another lesson: we have to be as relentless as spam and bots, because one bot just dropped a comment on Twitter.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about it. And nobody wants. Everybody wants to be famous, but you're not gonna help us, bud. So I'm not gonna dignify you by putting the comment up here.
It's like, yes, buy followers and Bitcoin. And
no, doggy coin.
This is why Anita said. This is why her main show is live. Less work.
Yes,
that's a good point.
And Anita does like so much stuff. It's like, okay,
Right?
let's do design. Let's do another book. Let's do another collection. It's like, does she ever stop? I think
Anita doesn't sleep. There's no
She does
way.
not sleep. I believe she does not sleep.
I
And
would
I have 5 episodes of her show to get out in the next month and a half for everybody. So she killed it. She actually did 2 extra shows for me in this last 2 months. So
She's awesome.
yeah, so and they're fantastic. I encourage everybody to check out Words That Kill. I mean, it's I get an education from that, and maybe not the education that we probably hope.
How to hide a dead body.
Yeah, how to poison somebody and get away with it.
How to clean your internet search so you don't get arrested.
Right.
I've said it before. What does the FBI call a writer's Google history? Probable cause.
True.
All right. So along the lines of what we talked about in terms of what we learned and what we're absorbing here, and I really appreciate everybody's thoughts. That was really awesome. Thank you so much. I wanted to talk a little bit about each of you and what I've learned from each of you this season.
Madilynn and I are both like,
and I really, I just I'm gonna make you big and make you embarrassed. So get used to it. All right. So I'm gonna go down the road, and then everybody, please, we're gonna talk about the future here, and everybody's gonna share a little something from what they're doing out there, and I'm real excited about that as well. We're doing kind of a mini everybody gets a last 5 minutes today. So, but I have to say with this one, Miss Madilynn Dale, I have learned. The things that Madilynn has taught me have been she's got such a spirit, she's got such a spunk, and when I watched her host this year, I learned I took a couple things from that. I think she showed me a couple things that I think I was neglecting as a host, and I just I really appreciate that. I really appreciate her fire, her passion, and her spunk. And I also learned that you can be sweet and smutty. So
I knew that was coming at some point.
I was quite surprised by Black Flames, and happily surprised. It was an incredible book, and if you don't have it, you need to go read it. It's so amazing, and I've been really impressed watching you do your marketing stuff and go out there and market too. You've been really championing a lot of people, and that's awesome. And you've really grown in the last 6 months, and it's really awesome to see. And everybody, she just did her first in-person event on Friday, and and she wrote about it in her blog, so go check out the blog. It's really cool too. And yeah, she's amazing, and I'm so happy that she's a part of what we do and how we do it. And thank you so much for that, Madilynn. Thank you for all your contributions this year. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your sweet words and for letting me stick around.
This one, what do I say about this one? You know what I've learned is from JD. He talked about balance. I've also learned that with JD, I've learned that he has a great way of saying things that I think everybody wants to hear be said, and he does it in a manner where it's like he's your best friend, a smile on his face, and he's even keeled about it and just beautiful about it. I mean, reading the reviews that he's given us this year, he hasn't been on as much as I would have liked this season, but I also know it's kind of going on, so I'm happy for him, and I'm just glad he's here whenever he's here, and I'll always appreciate that. But that being said, he has done a lot of blogging for us, and I'm real excited to put those out because every time I read those, I go, okay, that's how a review should read. That's how it should look. And he's very good at being very thorough about things, and yet showing his passion and amazing ability. And I really appreciate that. I have stolen a couple things from reading his blogs that I've incorporated into how I review as well. So I'm very, very happy about that. So
En español, te quiero, cabrón. I love you.
and I will there will be a time when JD and I will be on air talking Spanish. I am vehemently trying to learn, and for those of you who are out there who watch us and listen, I can tell you right now that if you are in Puerto Rico and you're a fan of this man, I will be there in April of 2023. So I was actually talking to JD's wife about how to book everything out there and put it together. So I have put that in motion. And so Puerto Rico Comic-Con, get ready. You're about to go indie now.
It can be done. I will be talking to a lot of local authors to get you on the panel and to get interviews and stuff like that, because I'm thrilled about it, and it's home. Home is home.
I can't wait to go to Taza, the
It's on the other side of the island, so you need like a day for that shit. But
I don't care. I'll Uber all the way over there. I'll hitchhike if I have to.
Uber no, but she she did have a booth this year, and she killed it. She had and next year it's just gonna be bigger.
I think I'll spend all day in there probably. I would imagine. But yeah, I'm real excited about that. So thank you, my friend. Thank you always. All right, Mr. Gaffen. Well, first and foremost, I've learned that Kendra is one badass, and I really love the way that you incorporate her voice into your message and what you do. I think it's super smart marketing wise, and it's been and now having read her and understanding it, I get it, and it's really cool. But you, my friend, are my happiest, just happiest achievement this year, for lack of a better word. I've seen you come out of your shell and join us for quite a bit of this year, and it's been absolutely wonderful to see. You can ask anybody. I've talked about this with a lot of people here about how just amazing it's been to have you, and to get you to contribute and be a part of this. You've really shown up, and it's really impressive, and I really appreciate that tremendously.
Thank you. It's been great being here, and being able to exchange ideas and just talk with other writers. And nice comment, JD.
Awesome. And this one, what do I say about this guy? Well, first and foremost, I think him stepping up and doing everything he's doing with Indie Mayhem. I'll tell you guys some, sausage factory stuff, some things maybe you don't want to know about how the sausage is made. That this man and his partner, Robin Burchett, have done everything you've seen on Indie Mayhem, sans me actually putting it on the channel, is them. They've done it all. I have not. I have rarely, if any, given any notes to it. I've edited a little bit of things here and there, and that's simply only because of technicalities. The show that they put together, the thing that they've done, I'm super impressed by, and I love every second of it. And I just love when people come to me and want to be a part of this. And Ron really was, he was asking me for a long time since we've known each other to do something. And when we put this together, it was just kismet, and it's shown through. And you're an impressive person, Ron. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. That's very kind.
All right. And I mean, here you go. Everybody should know that Indie Teachables is because of Venessa. So if you like Indie Teachables, Vanessa's the reason for that, everybody. Venessa was the one who I brainstormed it with and figured it out and thought about it. And of course, then we made her the first guest on the show and put that together. But also Venessa, her wisdom, her leadership, all of those things I learned from on a daily basis, not maybe even on an hourly basis, because she is amazing at all that. And I'm just she's one of the smartest people I know. She's one of the funniest people I know. She's one of the most lovable people I know. And all of those things make me a better person watching those and observing those, because I take those to heart. And I'm really, really, I just, this journey with you has been fantastic. And thank you so much. And for people who don't know, Vanessa's going to be contributing a lot more and come the fall. So we're talking about putting something together. So you're going to see some more of Venessa. Plus, she'll always be a part of the news team now, and I really appreciate that. And she stepped in, and that was really awesome. And she did a fantastic job. I mean, she saved that show, everybody. I'm not afraid to say that. She saved that. She saved that show. She saved that show. So thank you, Venessa. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. All I did was agree to be on it. You're the one who made the decision. I didn't save the show. But
No,
thank you. I'm very grateful for having that opportunity. And I'm actually super grateful I'm very grateful to Jim Nettles, because he's the one that pointed me toward Go Indie Now. And
Hey.
I cannot say what how much of a blessing you have all been in my life. So thank you, Joe, for all the hard work that you do, because now it's our turn to talk about you, because
Yes.
fair is fair.
No, you
Yes,
already did
I
that.
was
You
gonna
already
say
did
the
that.
same
You did that at the
thing.
beginning. You
Put
did
your
that at
big
the
face on
beginning.
the screen,
So,
But
because
did
now-
we? Because I feel like you don't know how much we are very thankful for you in this show and everything you've done with Go Indie Now.
Don't
Like
shake your head.
seriously.
I mean, don't shake your head. Don't shake your head. You're not loud. We didn't shake our head. You
No.
were us.
Yeah, because I mean, I would not have found my footing in indie business had I not got in touch with you and got into this show and met all of you guys. Like, it has changed my life as an author, knowing you.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great place. It's a great platform for authors to go and connect. And if you weren't doing it, then people, then this would not be happening. These connections would not be made. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't know Maddie. I wouldn't know JD. I wouldn't know Ron. I wouldn't have had CL Cannon's great marketing tips.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 of my best author friends I've met thanks to Joe, and Joe is one of my best friends, not just an author friend.
Yeah.
You're one of the captain's favorites, if not her favorite. You're one of my favorites, and you're one of Mom's favorites too.
Ooh.
And this is also why we've all adopted the name that JD uses for you as the Godfather.
I think
Getting
Joe
my
is
good.
fine.
Okay.
Those are big
All right.
words.
Yeah, those are very big words for
No, of
Ron.
course, I'm very grateful as well. And I've shared this before, but just with my own personal stuff going on, family stuff, that if I can't imagine what would happen if I hadn't found the Go Indie Now network and Joe and everybody.
Exactly.
Because it was, especially during the part of the pandemic where we never left the house, and it was just a really depressing time, but getting to meet everybody here and take advantage of what Joe has created was a real, not just a mood saver, but it felt like a lifesaver.
Yeah, it was life-changing. I agree.
Yes. So thank you, Joe. And
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
and here's the thing: you had to know, putting me last. This was gonna happen.
If
You had to
Vanessa
know.
wasn't going to say it, I was going to say it and start it. So, because I was waiting, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you're totally
See,
going to.
Maddie, you stole my answer, so I stole your segue.
Such a fair show.
Oh,
I mean, got to leave it to us women on here, right? We are outnumbered. So.
Well, thank you everybody for your kind words, and thank you to all of you for contributing. I want to especially acknowledge somebody who's been on this ride for me been on this ride with me for a long time, and that is my friend CL Cannon. Courtney and I really started this thing together, and she's always championed us, and she's always been there. And we're going to be into our third year of the Indie Connection coming up, and she did a show that was similar to this before that, and then we changed it up and did the Indie Connection, and I think it was the right move. And of course, the marketing tips, as Venessa alluded to, I'm so grateful for each and every one of those, and I learned a ton from those as well. And she is a guru, and if her links is in the description, so go check out everything that CL Cannon is doing. I promise you, it's something that you need and you will utilize in your journey. And along those lines, here is the Indie Connection. It's the winner's curse, but we are all winners for this show, for this segment, and we'll be back right after that.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. Today I'd like to tell you about some indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. The first book I have for you is called The Sylvan and the Sand by Sarah M. Craddock. Marry your enemy, dare to survive. Yesenia Warwick artfully dodges her father's talks of marriage, set on proving she is just as capable as her brothers. Her three loves, kin, homeland, and independence, are all she needs. Corin Quinlandon suffers under the cruel contempt of his ruthless father and brother as they scheme and plot from their castle in the trees. He's given up wishing for happiness. A strategic marriage far from home is as high as he dare dream. But the king of this realm has his own plan. Everything the gilded Quinlandons have earned was stolen from the Warwicks. So when all the leaders of the realm are summoned to a celebration with the king, both houses approach the fete balancing on a sharp blade's edge. But the king's celebration quickly turns to horror. The lords and ladies can only watch helpless as the devious king masterminds a series of marriages between their children, spinning the kingdom into chaos. Brash, fearless Yesenia Warwick is now the unwilling bride of tender-hearted Corin Quinlandon. Neither her silver-tongued wit nor her unmatched skill with daggers can erase what has been done. The choice ahead of her is simple, but impossible. Embrace her dangerous new life in the den of her enemy, or send the kingdom to war. The second book I have for you is called Fear of Fire and Shadow by S. Young. As one of the few remaining mage in the world, Rogan was stolen as a child and placed within the palace as handmaiden to Hayden, the last of the royal family. Now, as adults, the two young women are as close as sisters, and when Hayden falls victim to a sleeping disease, only Rogan can save her. Hayden's magic keeps peace across their land, and if she dies, their whole world will fall into the darkness of human nature. Setting off on a journey to revive the plant that will cure her friend, Rogan is stuck in close quarters with a protector she distrusts above all others, Wolf Stovia, the son of the man who kidnapped Rogan and destroyed her family. At a constant battle of wills with Wolf, Rogan knows their expedition will be fraught with tension. However, she never imagined that the quest would be so dangerous, that her beliefs would be so shaken, or that she'd find herself falling for her greatest enemy. The third book I have for you is called Scarlet Princess by Robin D. Mayle. A reckless princess, an enemy kingdom, a mistake that could cost her everything. Rowan has always known her place in the world and exactly who she is, a princess of Lachlan. That is, until a series of missteps lands her in the hands of her enemies. Now she's an outsider, being forced to reconsider everything she thought she knew. When her relationship with her captor takes an unexpected turn, she must figure out if centuries of animosity between their two lands is more than they can overcome, or if the Sokarians might be able to accept her as one of their own. If she's not careful, her choices very well could bring war to the people she's sworn to protect. And the last book I have for you is called Prisoner of Steel and Shadow by Meg Ann. A kidnapped queen. A vengeful god has stolen everything from the Queen of Assassins, her title, her power, her memories, even her name. Now merely a ghost of her former self, Shadow must enter a deadly game and fight for her freedom or risk spending the rest of her life as a madman's prisoner. But in order to win, she may be forced to lose what's left of her true self in the process. A legendary warrior. Resolved to a life sworn to duty instead of love, Ronan wasn't prepared when the assassin queen swept into his life. Then, as suddenly as she appeared, she vanished without a trace. After 5 years, he's no closer to finding her. So when a prophecy offers the first clue to her whereabouts, there's no question he'll set off to rescue her. But when they finally come face to face, she has no idea who he is. In fact, she seems more inclined to slit his throat than fall into his arms. When it becomes clear his only chance to save her is to become her enemy and enter the contest, he doesn't hesitate. He'd risk everything to bring her back, including his life. After all, the only reason his heart still beats is for her. Okay, that's all for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye!
All right. Well, interesting. All right. Thanks to CL Cannon for that awesome indie connection. And you won't see her next week, but but you will see her in September. She will be back doing the indie connection and so much more. And thank you to her for her contributions this year. If you haven't checked out previous episodes, and go check out the Indie Connection. You can see the Indie Connection on her YouTube channel as well. So you know, we would love for you to check out previous episodes of Going Now This Week in Indies and watch those as well. But if you just want to skip to the Indie Connections, I do have them time coded on every show, but also you can go to her YouTube page and give her some love there and watch them there. And that being said, we have our panel back here with everybody. Hello. And so I wanted to kind of, here you go. Yeah, Prisoner, got to get it. Love the cover and description. It's totes amazing. All right. A lot of totes going around today, everybody.
To get Going Now totes so that people can buy them.
Wait, Adam, why did you move spots?
Because
No, I'll shift it over.
You want me to move him? Are you that?
Like, wait, Ron's over in the corner.
There was a glitch and it dropped me out. So fortunately, it happened while.
I'm learning a little bit more about you today, Maddie.
I'm having one of those OCD like weeks, so it's okay.
Nice. I'm usually like that too, but that didn't bother me as much as the other thing did that you fixed earlier. But yeah. So before we get, I want everybody to share a little bit of the stuff that you've been doing and give you the opportunity to have the floor for that. But before we do that, I thought we would go and look at the future. And, you know, there's all kinds of things and theories and things out there. But, I mean, is there something that you're looking toward that you haven't felt like you've experienced this year that you want to accomplish? Is there something that you're on your goal list that you're still looking at? And is there something that you see happening in the future based on what's happening now in the past and present that you would say for you as an indie artist, not as a human being? I know there's a lot of human being stuff going on right now, but as an indie artist, is there something that you're looking at that you're excited for? I'll go first just to give everybody a chance to think and digest that. And I am still looking forward to the day that Drafted Digital and Smashwords really show up and give us, what they've started, and they've started to a little bit, but I believe that this year has been a real call to action and authority in terms of, we're defying Amazon at this point, and we're showing that you can go beyond Amazon. That Amazon isn't the lifeblood that it once was. And it wasn't. It is still. I know, Ron, you're going to bow to your dictators, and your overlords, but. That being said, I do believe that we are starting to see indies really find ways, and direct sales, I think, is going to be immensely huge in the next coming 18 months, I think. And to the point where I think that if you're going to be successful, you may need to have a direct sell route at some point. I just think it's one more thing we have to fucking do, and yes, and it's time and more stuff. But in the end, I think it's more worth it because that means you get to keep all the money. So, but the money, yeah, money. It had to be done. Sorry. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Anybody else want to jump in? Muted,
I'll just say that I was fastest off of the mute button. I'll say the direct marketing, and the direct sales, that is something that I picked up, and it's something that I'm trying to get going myself. Yes, Amazon's still going to be a big player, just because it's huge, but yeah, with Drafted Digital and Smashwords getting together and all the really good apps that are out there, the good ones are getting better and the bad ones are getting weeded out. So it's getting it's getting easier for us indies to find a legitimate, workable, affordable partner to get our books and get our products out there. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm kind of glad, and I know Karina's all against it, but I'm actually appreciating what Amazon is doing with Kindle Vella. They're actually starting to advertise it now, seeing that, okay, it's not just a flash in the pan kind of thing, because they've been doing it for a year. But they're finally starting to advertise it. So I think that's going to be a huge tool for indie authors if we can figure out how to use it.
Nice. That's awesome. I mentioned Goodreads in there, and they dropped some news about how they were dropping some things on their platform. And I'm like, who cares? Nobody uses that dog shit. What are you talking about? It's like it's the most mundane 3 things you could possibly take off your site that nobody gives a crap about, really.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Adam because I've been using Kindle Vella and it's more fun than I thought it would be. I'm slowly growing on it. I've had more success with it than I thought I was going to, which I've totally hit Adam up for advice on a lot of my Vella stories because he's been doing it longer than I have. But also moving forward after doing the book signing Friday over the weekend kind of stuff. What was this? Yeah, it was Friday. Oh, my days are all messed up. This is what happens when you pull your child out of daycare and they're home all the time. I want to do more of that, but I'm looking for ways to get my book into more bookstores. I reached out to another indie bookstore in a different state that one of my readers recommended. So we're going to see how that goes. And also to actually make it to more cons this year, I'm going to be at Multiverse. This is going to be like my first really big con. So I'll get to see a lot of you guys there. Expect hugs.
I'm so excited. Sorry.
And you're good. And going from like eventually I want to be where I can have like a booth and stuff there. Maybe. I don't know. I might enjoy actually attending more than having a booth. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I want to do more things like that in the future instead of just like focusing on the digital marketing stuff, which is still important, by the way. But yeah, so.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really.
I think we should call on Ron next.
Yes. We're calling you out, Ron.
Go ahead, Ron. What's the future like for Ron Lahr?
Well, the thing that hasn't happened that I'm looking forward to is massive success.
Amen.
Great.
Well, that's keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then in my personal life, being inundated with food from the garden.
Which you're well on your way to doing.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Finally, something that sounds biblical, but in a positive sense.
We're already. I mean, you can see the giant stack of egg cartons.
I was
there.
going to say he's feeding the like town with his eggs because he put boats up, and I said, mail me some to Oklahoma.
Those are all full. That's 3, 4, 5, 6.5 dozen from the last week.
Jesus.
Yeah, and the people I've been giving eggs to, I'm like, pretty soon there's going to be produce with it because there's just so much food coming. But anyway, but yes, success both for I mean, I just learning, making things better, getting more work out there, more episodes of Indie Mayhem, more books. I mean, I'm working on a handful of those right now, so I guess what I'm looking for is no sleep. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Ask Anita for advice on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. She's the resident expert.
The level of output from her is just always amazing.
Yeah, she is awful. I agree with JD.
She has some direct sales plans, and
because of course she does. She's amazing.
There you go.
So for me, it's something that I've been. It's not considering. It's a matter of when, not if. There is actually someone from Puerto Rico that I met that actually distributes books to different bookstores, and she helps handle getting the money from the bookstores. It's like you're gonna take that on, and you just want like a cut. There you go.
Take the money.
So that is one of the things that I'm exploring. I haven't done it yet because of something new that I'm going to experience, hopefully, and it's gonna be booming, and that success is gonna arrive. I am going to be doing several Spanish releases, which I haven't done. I'm from Puerto Rico. My first language is Spanish, and I have one book in Spanish, and it's a poetry collection, and it's thin. And I have a bilingual collection, but I did this version, which is the all English version of the bilingual collection. I'm working on the Spanish version of that. So that's one of the books. I'm doing a Spanish horror short story collection. So that's another one. I am doing a poetry collection. That's another one. And I'm doing a nonfiction. So hopefully by next year, I will have 4 Spanish books in different categories. And there's a reason for that. This past week, a lot of fellow indie authors from Puerto Rico were celebrating the International Book Latino Awards. I am just clueless, and I'm always chasing the new shiny squirrel. It's not just a shiny object; it's a shiny squirrel. It's shiny, whatever. And I'm working on several things, and I forget to submit. So I reached out to someone that's hopefully going to help me, and I'm going to have another backup person to hopefully help me navigate those waters to submit stuff for competition and for those awards. And I will be reaching out for someone for English as well, just because it's something that I don't do. And I think that it could help. And if you don't try, you won't know. And, who knows? Maybe I have a lot of success, and that'll help with those days of self-doubt. It's like, yeah, you're having a crappy day, but you won an award for whatever. Who knows? I don't think that's going to make a difference in terms of what I do. So there's that. And yeah, I have a couple of books here, and I might do Estrada crates, but I'm just thinking about a way where it's just not a pain in the ass because it's so labor intensive the way that I want to do it. That is just not counterproductive. So that's just me throwing it out in the ether. Hopefully someone is going to say like, I want one. Yeah, that's about it in terms of the future. It's a lot. And I'm also working on English stuff. Don't think that I've forgotten about the third novel of the Human Cycle. Those two are already available. The third one is coming along. It's taking a long time because it's emotionally intense. I'm working on a short story collection and a Partridge in a Pear Tree, but I'm trying to focus, finish, go to the next one, focus, finish. And it's working out for me. It's amazing what focus can do.
And we discussed yesterday more blog posts as well. So he's going to do some more reviews for us. And
Video
JD
games and music.
And JD is my next. We're doing creative moves together, and we're going to be reviewing some stuff on each other's channels. And so look for
Thank
that.
you.
That's going to happen this summer. So.
Hi.
And I have to admit, I'm gonna have to get some of your books, JD, in the Spanish version, because I'm working on improving my Spanish stuff.
Oh, cool!
So I
So we
had
could talk
several
together.
years of it in high school, but it's so rusty. I finally found my Rosetta Stone stuff, and I'm using Duolingo, and it's kind of coming back slowly. But I can read it better than I can say it right now. I'll just say that much.
The curious thing is that when I did the all English version of 2020, I realized how Puerto Rican I write. So it's going to be curious to see how the English makes it to Spanish, because I'm wired that if I write in Spanish from the get-go, it's going to be very Puerto Rican. But when I translate, I do it more neutral Spanish. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see on the page.
All right. That's awesome. All right, Venessa.
So I guess it's me.
Yep.
Two things really I'm looking forward to. One is because it's been such a rough few years, my online marketing for my books, I just haven't had the spoons for it. I just have not had the energy to put into it. So that's one of the things that I am going to be revisiting in the coming months, is getting like Amazon ads back out there, being more present on social media in general, that is not political ranting. And then the other thing I'm really excited about in the future is the show that we're putting together for the Go Indie Now Network. So I'm super excited about that. Joe and I we've kind of nailed down what day of the month it's going to be, like what day of the week it's going to be and stuff, but we haven't actually talked, like we had some high level discussions about what it'll be, but I'm super excited about like getting everything in place and getting things going. So yes.
I am super excited about that as well. So yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go around the room, and if you guys would mind, not only telling everybody where to find you, but to share a little bit of something that maybe, just a small snippet. Take as much. I would like to say take as much time as you can, but please don't. In the same regard, but we're gonna start with you, Venessa. So
no, don't start with me.
Okay, all right. I won't start with you then.
Start with somebody else.
How about Adam? Adam, you ready to go?
I can be very shortly. So yeah, I know. So you can find me at CassidyChronicles.com. That's the website. You can also go to the link tree, which is right down here, and that has all the sales links and the vote for Into the Black for Indie Book of the Year, and all sorts of good stuff at the link tree. Yes, thank you. And also on the website, CassidyChronicles.com, you can find direct sales links, so you can get the ebooks right there. So you want me to read something? I knew this. I knew this, Joe. I didn't expect to be the first one. Okay, so this is actually going to be a very little bit from one of the stories, When Cats Fly, out of Into the Black, and it features some of my secondary characters, which was the reason for writing Into the Black in the first place. Let them shine. So, no way I could order you. I'd resign and leave Shooting Star holding the bag. Doubt it. Colonel Daniela Garcia Kay fumed. Oh, come on. The other woman, Admiral Kendra Cassidy, softened her voice. I'm not saying we're going to drop a cat into a cockpit and turn her loose, but they're citizens and they have a right to serve. If they choose to serve in the direwolves, we have to have a plan in place to accommodate their unique needs. Kendra, I know you have a soft spot for the cats, but a raised hand stopped Daniela's complaint. For the record, this was not my idea. It went through channels. She started ticking off fingers. First, it went to Allie's companion, Hunter. Jennifer Allie Martinez, captain of the TFS Enterprise, had bonded to the tree cat called Hunter in 2120. He'd been a constant presence aboard ship and through the habitat ever since. Second, Hunter brought it to the cat's ruling council. All the formerly independent nations which comprised the Terran Federation had retained control in local matters. The cats, native to the planet Freyr, had a council. They were linked to the rest of the Federation through the QNet, which allowed for real-time communication across light years. Third, they sent it to Ted. Ted was Theodore O'Quinn, the first president of the Federation. He, his wife, Minister Amanda McAllister, and their family lived aboard Njord. He chickened out and dumped it in my lap, and now I'm dumping it in yours. Kendra finished with a grin. Thank you so much, Admiral. It was even money whether Daniela's use of her rank signified more or less irritation. Kendra reasoned two could play at that game. Of course, Colonel. I leave it in your capable hands. I could go on, but I won't.
Who's messing around here? You changing my background, Maddie?
Oh snap! I'm sorry. I was looking for a like a. Whoops.
This is the fourth wall and the fifth dimension. There we go.
Sorry, I was looking for an overlay because it's got my book on it.
As opposed to an overlay.
All right, Venessa, you're up.
I'm not running. I had a thing I was going to write, but then I was going to read, but then I decided I wanted something else, and I'm trying to find it, and I can't find it.
All right, Ron, you're up.
Thank you, Ron, for going instead.
All right, I'm going to have to read this real quick because it's longer than I expected. But this is from a short story I'm working on for my Cathaldi Chronicles anthology, where all the stories take place in the world of my Cathaldi Chronicles novels, which started with Children of Cathaldi. We joined Dirk, now basically a detective, near the end of this particular story. He has had all of his suspects gathered together for the unveiling of the murderer. I waited until all of the suspects had arrived and been shown into the dining hall by the guards, who I'd asked to remain in attendance. After all, I didn't want to be stuck in there with a murderer by myself, with only a bunch of people who hadn't yet become murderers, but who I suspected surely would in the coming years. As a smart guy, I also had some mages just outside the room, suppressing all magic inside. Just because my suspects had been relieved of their weapons didn't mean I wanted to be killed by magic. I wasn't ready to die. I mean, I'd just had my house renovated and redecorated. I was looking forward to enjoying it for a few years before I had to do it all over again to keep up with the latest fashions. I mentally shrugged, deciding that the 7 suspects had sweated enough. I figured they were just at the point of being as uncomfortable as possible before they got too used to it and started becoming comfortable again. That wouldn't do, so I opened the door and made my way to the head of the table with a big fake smile on my face. I sat down and looked around the table at my group of suspects. I was pretty sure that I'd be able to trick one of them into slipping up during our friendly chat. Before we get started, does anybody want anything to drink? I'm going to have a nice glass of wine myself. There's no reason we can't enjoy ourselves as we talk, is there? I almost laughed at my own joke, which normally isn't something I try to avoid, but I didn't want to spoil the wonderful mood I'd inspired in my group of suspects. They all ordered something, probably because I had, and they all wanted to fit in, except for Adam Lahr. He politely declined my offer. The crabby Mandolan mage never touched the stuff. That alone made me suspicious of him. Who can trust a guy who doesn't drink? Weird. He made his living by installing magical security systems for well-off merchants, mostly, but I suspected that he had deals with various thieves, which resulted in him getting a share of the profits when his clients were eventually robbed. His excuse was always, I told you to get the more expensive package. No, he was too boring to be the murderer. I switched my gaze to Nikelsa, the new widow, formerly married to the victim. She was certainly a likely suspect. Not only had she inherited everything upon her husband's death, but she also had a mean temper and the most impressive set of crazy eyes I'd ever seen, and I've known a lot of women. I'd barely started to consider all the reasons why she was most likely the murderer when I was interrupted. Hortgeth, the half-elf playboy and poet, had apparently had enough. My lord, he said snidely, an obvious attempt to remind everyone that I was only due the title thanks to my job, not by birth. Is there any chance you could hurry this up? I'm in the middle of composing an epic poem that I believe all the ladies in this fair city will very much enjoy. He glanced over at Madilynn, Mikkelsen's attractive young governess, and winked suggestively. He did everything suggestively, and often with success, according to what I discovered during the investigation. Madilynn smiled and blushed, which only made Hortgeth smile back at her. Before he swung his eyes to me again, I'm sure you can sympathize with my situation. I snorted. You'd be surprised, Hortgeth, at how little sympathy I have for suspected murderers being inconvenienced. I enjoyed the look of indignation on all their faces, except for Madilynn. I don't think she even heard me. She was too busy staring at Hortgeth with her stupid puppy eyes, like he was the man of her dreams who was going to sweep her off her feet and keep her from ever having to change diapers again. Someone cleared their throat to get everyone's attention, and I saw it was Vangela, the head mistress at some fancy school for rich and powerful people's snotty kids. Well, surely not all of us are suspects. Or do you believe we all murdered poor Nikkelsen's husband together? He only had the one stab wound, after all. That makes it unlikely to have been a gang of murderers, doesn't it? I nodded, finally noticing what she was wearing. Was she cleaning toilets when the guards showed up to gather her? I realized that all the suspects were dressed like peasants, and not even clean ones. Did they have no pride, no self-respect? Ugh, at least Ronell was dressed nicely. He obviously cared about himself and others. He was also the smartest and handsomest of the group, even if he was in his early 50s. I hated to suspect him, but with his massive brain power, he could easily get away with murder. I really hoped it was the one true criminal amongst the suspects, Big Joe Compton, a local crime boss who controlled half the gambling dens and whorehouses in the city. He was also one of the city's biggest philanthropists, which usually ensured that the guard left him alone. Well, that and all the bribes he paid out. Mine had been small, but still appreciated. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So you can find me kind of all over the internet if you just search for my name, but the links will be down in the description. All right, so what I'm going to read is a part of my current Vela project that I'm putting up. The entire book is done, so it's just a matter of getting it all up there. I schedule stuff about 3 times a week, and it's currently got about 2/3 of it already up. So the scene I'm going to read, it's called, the book is called Pandora Twins, and it's about a set of 12-year-old twins who have discovered that they are the guardians of Pandora's box. So in this scene, they're going back out into the woods where they originally found the box, and they are looking for the wood nymph Daphnis, who helped them a little bit. And so they're on their way through the forest. So here we go. We couldn't have been on the trail more than 3 or 4 minutes when a long, shrill howl broke the night. Every hair on me rose, and I couldn't keep the shiver from wrangling through my body. Holy crap. Lily turned her head to me, eyes panicked. Oh no. Don't look back. Run, I said. She lurched and stumbled. I scrambled her up as I came flying by. I held on as she regained her footing, almost dragging her along with me. Don't look back, I said again as I pushed her ahead. We ran all out, doing our best to avoid the roots and rocks sticking out of the ground. Miraculously, we burst into the clearing where the box had been buried. Daphnis, I called out in a whisper. My voice sounded harsh and raspy to my own ears, my breathing loud. Please, we need your help. Suddenly, Daphnis was there beside us. I didn't even see where she'd come from. Another howl echoed through the woods, closer now. I swallowed down a lump which had formed in my throat. Quickly, Daphnis whispered in return. To the hole, both of you. Stand inside it and stay there. Very quiet, very still. Do not breathe when he comes if you can help it. Lily beat me there and jumped into the small pit. I stumbled in beside her. It was deeper than I thought. We were in the ground almost to our waists. There was hardly enough room for both sets of our feet at the bottom. We hugged each other tight, partly to keep from tipping over, but mostly because we were both scared out of our heads. My heartbeat thumped in my ears. I couldn't stop shaking. Daphnis stood over us until we got situated. When she looked over her shoulder, her green hair swung around. She turned back and put a dark finger to her lips. Shh. Then she ran into her tree, gone. There was no more time. A crashing echoed through the clearing, and the wolfman broke through the trees. I sucked in a breath and held it. I felt Lily do the same. He sniffed the air, then at the ground. I hadn't even thought of our scent. Could he track us that way? My heart plunged to my feet. He moved straight along the path we'd taken to the hole. The snuffling of his nose got louder as he approached. I hugged Lily tighter and chanced a very fast, very quiet breath, and then I held it again. He sniffed around the rise of the mound, circling the hole. How come he's not attacking? It's like he can't even see us. A puff from his nose warmed my knee, and I shuddered. The hem of the tunic swished. The wolfman's eyes, a dingy green, rolled right and left as he scented us. Without warning, he stood fully upright. I bit the inside of my cheek to keep from gasping. He towered over us by a good 2 feet at least. He was huge, and he was so close that I could have touched him if I'd been brave. But I wasn't, and I clutched Lily tighter. My lungs burned, making my chest hot and tight. How long could I hold my breath? I didn't know. Lily shook. I had no idea if it was from fear or lack of oxygen. The wolfman, was this Lycan? Moved in a leisurely circle, sniffing, still scenting. When he'd gotten behind us, I took another chance. I forced myself to keep from gulping air into my lungs and instead sipped. A growl came, long and low. I froze again. He loped slowly around us, returning to the front. You are here. His voice sounded like no man's I'd ever heard. It rumbled out of his throat and seemed to take up space in the air itself. I cannot see you, but I know you are here. Now I shook too. We weren't hidden in any way that I understood. We just stood in a hole. But the only thing that kept me from screaming was that he definitely couldn't see us. My brain felt ready to explode and my chest burned with fire. I needed to breathe. In the moonlight, Lily's face was a dark shade of red, like bricks, like blood. A bark echoed through the forest, and the wolfman swiveled his head toward the sound. It came from the direction of the other path, the one that led to the farm. Lily and I both swung our heads around too and swayed as we tried not to topple over. There was nothing on the pathway, but the bark sounded again. Lily squeezed me tight. It was Archie. We both knew his bark, and that meant Gramps couldn't be far behind. I snuck in a little breath. The wolfman growled and snuffled. Heated air whooshed my face, and the smell worse than gym clothes left in a school locker too long, and that's pretty bad. My belly flip-flopped, and I kept from puking by sheer force of will. The wolfman turned his body toward the path where I just knew Archie was going to come. Not too far off, branches and leaves rustled, and the sounds were getting closer. He hesitated. Would he leave or meet Archie? And I'll stop there.
That's cool. Okay, greetings, fellow humans. Look for me and JD Estrada Writer on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I will be trying to do a couple more things on YouTube. After we finish this, I'll be hopping on live there and tinkering and doing stuff. But later this week, I wanted to take the chance and go in and out. And I do taste tests on Friday. And sometimes they're funny. Oftentimes people go, oh, I want to try that. This one's not meant to be like something I'm going to repeat. I bought something last year that its expiration, well, its best buy date is in July. So whatever the hell. It is turkey dinner plus apple pie and coffee candy corn.
Oh my God.
The flavors are stuffing. Okay. Cranberry sauce. Okay. Roasted turkey and green beans. So I'm going to be talking about, while I try this, the idea is to try different stuff, and you can give a try to this. I'm going to be reading about this now, but I'll be talking more in depth on Wednesday. This is the all-English version of my bilingual collection, 2020. I wanted to do an all-English and all-Spanish version because a lot of people have not bought it because they either don't speak English or don't speak Spanish, and I go like, but that's the idea. There's still half that no, okay, I'll do all and all. And it's been an interesting experience, and I did want to share a couple things. One of people have asked me, how hard is it to translate? Here's the thing, depends on the rules that you set. I'm going to be reading a couple of poems. Translating poetry is tricky in terms of wordplay, metaphors, rhyme, alliteration, and so on and so forth. My rule for this collection was I was going to forget of the rhyme scheme, and I just wanted to try to capture the essence of the poem in another language and see what happened. So the first one I'm going to read is called My Harvest, Mi Cultivo. I harvest black as roses in valleys of paper white. The ink acts as my pearl, my writing is my art. In blind journey, I always write in twilights of my being, memories of gloom in the present of my skin. I harvest black roses in valleys of paper white, taking my time in thought, lost in dreams and fantasies, inside my mind, captured in paper. By the way, these are my bookmarks. I have a fascination with the Joker. I'm not sure how I feel about the musical, though. We'll talk about that when it happens. The second poem, it's called Revelation. Revelación. Let us toast to mental masturbation, to fantasy and fiction, to dreams that are always in movement and reality, tacit and ecstatic, more abundantly placid, gasping for air and resurrection. Let us toast to bravery, to courage and honor, to stupidity and pain. And drenched in sweet agony, I remain in utter splendor. So dead and beaten, so thought and valid, in eternal memory forever and ever, sounds Amen or redemption. And finally, I wanted to read, well, I actually have something else that I want to read, but that's just me sending, I just saw a comment come up about the actual things that I'm going to be tasting. I wanted to read an essay here because the essays are tricky for different reasons, specifically the ones that have to do with Puerto Rico. I'm not going to read one of those. I'm going to read one of those on Wednesday just because it needs a bit more explanation. This one's called January in the Morning, December at Night. Enero en la mañana, diciembre a la noche. The start of the year often includes a symphony of stumbles, accidents, mistakes, and dumb moments. The worst part is that we treat the year as if we were on a date, and we think that if we make a bad first impression, there's no coming back from that. The reality is that many people reach a point in the year where they give up, where they forget their resolutions, and where they stop going the extra mile because they know they won't achieve their goals to 100%. It doesn't matter that they can't reach 70 or 80%. It's that if it isn't 100%, why bother? The year and life in general are both more tolerant than that and most likely want you to keep moving forward, either by leaps and bounds or at a snail's pace. Every year, I make an incredibly long list of things I want to accomplish during this year. And when I say the list is long, I mean very, very long. The important thing is not its length, but that it has often helped me focus to be more productive. I often don't achieve 100% of the goals that I set for myself. That doesn't mean that I stop trying until the end of the year. I insist, I get stubborn, I analyze how best to do things. I catch up on certain goals and others fall overboard. Life is like that. Life isn't the inedible stone tablets with the 10 commandments. It is a living, organic, and constantly evolving experience. Every day is an adventure in and of itself, a chapter in a series of books whose author, editor, publicist, and accountant are you. It is up to you what you do with each day and look beyond the tangible goals to see the discipline you adopt, to see what goals you did complete or in which you obtained an excellent result. It is up to you to look at each morning as the 1st of January and every night as the 31st of December, an encouraging beginning of hopes, challenges, wishes, and dreams, and an end of the day where you give an account of what you did with the 16 to 18 hours that you were awake, 19 if you're Anita. Every morning is an opportunity to have hope, and every night is your dance hall to celebrate. So why not make the most of that party we call life? And finally, this is from a collection that I released last year. It's a very short poem. It's been a weird week, and I always try to send good vibes to good people. So anyone watching this is good people, especially if you smash that like button. It's called A Fleeting Flying Thought. I had a thought once. Nothing life-changing. Barely an epiphany. More a curious little rumination. Whilst the sky and we might ponder over the roughness of the world, we can enjoy each wonder and take flight like a bird.
Hi guys, I guess it's my turn, but before I get started, I'm going to reiterate, don't forget to like and smash that like button. Subscribe so you know when we're going live next. I honestly have so many things in the fire right now between Vela projects and books. I have a box set of books coming out in July. The first 4 books in my Phase Shifter series are available to order for 99 cents right now on Amazon. Link is on my website. But today I'm going to read a section from one of my Vela stories. The story, I originally started it like a year and a half ago and stopped because I realized there were some deep things coming out while I was writing this. A lot of inspiration behind the characters comes from people I went to school with. So, and some of the like stuff I went through over the years growing up through college and everything kind of spilled over into this story. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope you'll check it out. I will say Vela stories, the first 3 episodes are free. And right now Amazon's been giving like 200 tokens, I think, to, as Adam's nodding his head down in another screen. They've been giving tokens, like 200 tokens for you to continue reading. And I hope you'll check it out. But yeah, so this Vela project is called Love and Adulting, and it's Riley and Liam's story. I'm going to turn this into a series. It is a kind of like a contemporary romance, small town romance. So it's not fantasy. Surprise, no shifters, guys. I know that's like my thing. But I have a couple of short stories that should be appearing in anthologies coming out later in the year. So keep an eye out for those. Anyway, so Chapter 1, Riley. I drum my fingers across the small wooden table as I sit, staring across the floor of the small cafe. A small divot rested in the wood between my pointer and middle finger. I kept them on either side as I watched the young pimple-faced kid in a blue hat behind the counter. The room smells of cinnamon, coffee, and chocolate, making my stomach growl as I wait. For a chilly day in January, one would think that the coffee shop would be booming. But alas, only one couple and a student sitting at a laptop were its only occupants. The pimple-faced barista, with his stringy blonde hair, looks up at me with his brown eyes from behind the bar and nods. He moves to the end of his bar with a large paper cup and plate before saying loudly, "Riley?" Shaking my head, I push from my wooden chair and walk to the bar. I pass the young couple and fight the urge to growl. They look so cheery, seated there holding hands. Such new love or infatuation? Do they even know what love is? Hell, do I? I smile politely at the kid behind the counter as I take my steaming cup of black coffee and triple chocolate cupcake. Thanks. Let me know if you need anything else or if you want to hang out sometime. His smile brightens and his cheeks turn a light shade of pink as he pushes a piece of paper with his number on it toward me. I look down at it and then back up at him. Thanks for the Java and food. You look a little young for me, though. I smirk and turn to walk away as he turns bright red. Was that too harsh? Maybe a little, but of all days to ask me out, today is not the day to do so. I return to my chair and slide my phone out of my purse. I sip at my hot coffee as I open the screen and just stare at it. With a sigh, I open my messages. I stare at the various texts between me and my best friend from home. Messages between my parents and I, and then the text between Clyde and me. I glare at his name, hoping he feels the pain of my gaze through the interweb of messages. That asshole. I thought we were in love. I can't believe he would do this. And with Beth? For real. She was supposed to be my friend. Should I just delete his info? No, I better not do that, in case he messes with my stuff. Ugh. My internal battle has me fuming, but I pull up the group text I have with my parents and reach out to them. Me. Hey, I'll be home later today. We'll explain what's going on when I get home. I will be staying for a few days. I set my phone down and dig into my cupcake. Now more than ever is a time for chocolate. I don't care that I look like some starved crazy person as I moan occasionally between bites. I glance over at the barista, who turns beet red at my gaze. Maybe I could have been nicer? I finish eating my cupcake and return to my coffee as my phone buzzes. Mom. Okay, I'll make your favorite enchilada casserole for dinner. Dad. We will see you tonight. I smile to myself as I read their text. It fills me with warmth, and I feel a shred of happiness break through the torrent of emotions from walking in on Beth and Clyde. I sip on my coffee and let my mind wander as I gaze out the window at the traffic passing by. So many cars filled with so many different people leading their own lives. Not one has a passing thought to what the lonely woman in the coffee shop could be thinking. Different colors stand out to me as the cars pass. Reds, blacks, and darker-hued vehicles that seem to relate to my current mood. I need to return to my apartment to pack, but I want to make sure that it's empty before I do. I told Clyde to get his shit and get out before I left, as Beth sat cowering naked in my sheets. Stupid bitch. I never should have let her in room with us. It sounded fishy at first, but I thought maybe since she was my closest friend in this deranged city, it wouldn't hurt. When she and I met during college, I thought we would be excellent friends. She seemed nice and lived closer than I did. I hoped she could show me around and introduce me to some of the locals. She and I were close and shared so many different stories. She even supported me after graduation as I came to terms with the fact I had a crap degree that I couldn't do anything with without furthering my education. I was already in debt up to my ears from student loans, and I did not want to rush off into another debt-inducing educational move. I got hired to manage a gym for a while, but it didn't pay nearly as well as the waitressing job I had previously. Needless to say, I chose the better option and went back to waiting tables. I've been there for the past 2 years, working my ass off, and the tips have been great. The only downside is I haven't been offered anything like a promotion. Will I ever be able to move forward? I was hurt when I found her with Clyde in my bed. Yes, my bed, not Clyde's bed. I asked Clyde to move in with me several months back after we had been dating for 6 months. He told me he loved me, but now I realize he was just trying to use me as a sugar mama. The lazy ass. I hope his dick rots off. I glare at my phone as it goes off again, with a text from Clyde popping up on the screen. It's as if my thoughts summoned him. I open the message out of curiosity, and my anger surges once again. Clyde, I'm so sorry, babe. I was stupid. I messed up. Please forgive me. Don't make me move out. I love you. Me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have gone and stuck your pecker in another pussy, you asshole. Get the hell out of my apartment and fuck off. Clyde, babe, come on. It was one mistake, please. Fuck off, Clyde. You have 30 minutes to get the hell out or I'm calling the cops. I'm sure they will have no issues helping me since they're in the diner all the time. Clyde, fine. My shit's out. I just wanted to try and change your mind, but I see how that's going. I set the phone down, determined not to respond. He knows how to guilt trip me and get under my skin. It's not going to work this time, though. I sip on my coffee and notice it's cooled down quite a bit. I can now take larger drinks. After a few large gulps, I pick up my phone again and pull up my ongoing message with Liam. I haven't seen him in ages, but we talk frequently. He is one of those friends where you can go long periods of time without talking and pick up right where you left off. We have been friends since diapers. He was even my first kiss, if you consider your mom scheming with her best friend to have their toddlers pose with a smooch. It's in my baby book, even. I wonder how he'd feel about this whole thing with Clyde. He said Beth moving in with us was a bad idea and I should have listened. He also didn't seem like a huge fan of Clyde when they briefly met back toward the beginning of the relationship. I chalked it up to the fact that Liam wasn't dealing with the emotions tied to me dating someone new, but now I wonder. I rub my forehead as old memories drift out of the recess of my mind from a few years back. Liam and I had gone to a party with some of our old high school buddies out in the woods. It wasn't much different than the parties we had in high school. We all hung out around the fire, talking and whatnot, until someone brought out the tequila. I should have known better, but my self-control goes out the window when that stuff comes out. The rest of the night after is hazy, but bits and pieces slip through. I remember laying on top of Liam, sliding my tongue down his abs. He's always taken care of his body, working out daily and whatnot, but oh, his abs. Even now it makes my mouth water. I remember moving from his abs to the top of his jeans and sliding them off. I'm pretty sure neither one of us was sober at that point because I took his large member into my mouth as soon as it was free. I'll go ahead and stop there, guys, before we get into more. But that is my Vela project. So one of my Vela projects. And yeah, it's steamy. So that's me.
Sweet and smutty.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for reading. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We really appreciate it. This is Go Indie Now. If you haven't been here before, please stay a while. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe, do all the wonderful things that you do. Because right now, and each and every year, I dictate to you a call of action. So this year, I'm dictating a different call to action in some respects. This with now what has become my annual State of the Indies address. A customary state of anything, with a customary state of anything, we lay out the future. Obviously, the past look much different each and every year that we do this, and they change and just based on what we hope to accomplish. But I promise you, the plan has always been the same. So as we're heading into our third year of full-fledged fall to winter programming and our sixth year of Go Indie Now content, I'm first here to tell you thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us and with us and contributing for. We really appreciate it. We create this content for you to help you get further in your career, to have a place to belong, to share your triumphs and successes with everyone that we can. Thank you for coming here, believing in us, and being a part of this. I truly am grateful and humbled to have each of you, all of you, on this train with us. All I can say is thank you for your patience and resolve to stay. Because the day will come when your coach ticket will be upgraded to first class. Search your feelings because you know this to be true. This train we are on is gaining steam by the minute. Plans are in place. And I wish I could share exact details with you right now, but I only have 5 minutes. So most of you know me, most of you who know me, and most of you who understand how driven I am and how focused I am, how much this and you mean to me, understand that I'm really asking you here to listen to what I'm about to tell you. This train has stopped for a little while and is about to take off into its next stop. There's no stops in between. There will be nowhere to enter when it does. When it finally does stop, entering may not mean the same thing it does now, meaning the spots are going to go, the spots that are available are going to be fewer and far between than they have been in the past. We are almost full, and I'm going to let those who have come aboard and championed us and stay with us in those seats keep those seats for as long as they want them. Yes, as I said, most of you will be upgraded, but that won't mean that we won't open as many seats as we can. We're always welcoming new people, and I want to, of course, have open seats and welcome anybody who wants to come on board. But if you get on board for one stop and get off, don't think I'm not paying attention to that, because I am. We're not a fad. We're not a trend. We are building a community, a family. So get on board this fall and get comfy in your seat. Join our Facebook group, subscribe here and on Twitch, and follow us all on our social medias. We're going to do a lot more in the next coming months on all of those platforms. I have plans for every single one of them, and we will be executing all of them. So with your seat, though, comes great responsibility. We need you to share what we do. Bring in folks you think would be good passengers on our community train. So go explore the station we're at right now that we're stopped at. Go check out everything that we're doing and come join us in September, because it is always time. It is always time to go indie now.